We should be live now because it says end broadcast. Sorry, you are going to have to see this screen for a few seconds as my team confirms that we're indeed live and that we are able to share the screen and that it's all working fine. So let's see, show all posts. I should be live now, technically. Let's see. Oh, yes, it does look like I'm live. Not here. No, I don't see. Oh, there we go. Hang on. Yes, it says how to keep your users engaged and motivated with an intent to purchase at each. Absolutely. This is exactly what we're doing. Yes, we are live. Okay, so what are we going to cover today in this conversation? First of all, there are a number of things that are on this agenda. This is going to be a long training, almost an hour, probably going to 90 minutes. I'll try and finish it sooner than that, but let's see. So what we are trying to do here is the end objective is to basically talk about these email automations. Now, let me start with this first. These are the email automations at different stages of customer journey. We're going to talk a little bit about each of these and why a user gets into one automation from the other. But before we do that, let's try and understand a typical customer journey from an e-commerce perspective. Now, what you see on my screen here, and these files are available for anyone to ask, and we will be very happy to share these for you. But typically, this is what happens. This is the pre-purchase stage when the customer / prospect is unknown to your business, or your business is unknown to them. Now, there are 4 typical stages here before they become a part of your ecosystem when you can start communicating with them. Stage 1 is passive interest. You're running your ads, and then this is your target audience. So you intend finding these prospective customers. They may not be actively seeking your products, but you want to create thumb-stopping, scroll-stopping kind of creative so that they become aware of your business. Right now, they're in passive interest mode. Now, at this stage, they see the ad, their conversation. I'm not going to go into these details because this is the conversation for another training, but typically, these are the questions they have in their mind. Now, this document further goes into a lot of things that you should do for each of these stages, and we will cover them, as I said, in a different training. So I'm going to go slow so they can see, in the comments whenever you watch this training on whether you would like to access the training that we have on the subject. But let's stay on the first part of this equation, which is what are the main questions in their mind at each of these stages. We want to discuss the stages of a customer journey from the perspective of a DTC / e-commerce brand. Now, assuming that they've seen your product, so they might actually be aware of your brand, or they actually have a problem that your product solves. It could be a skincare company, you could be selling shirts, you could be selling anything. And they are actively searching the internet for the product. So when they're looking at this, these are the questions in their mind. Again, not going into the content details at the moment, but generally, okay, hold on one second. I'm told that the content is not readable on the screen. I would imagine that's the speed of transmission. And we are recording HD video, so we will share the video on YouTube after this conversation. So you should be able to get the context and you should be able to look at the documents. And in fact, as a matter of fact, why don't I add this URL in the comments here so anybody can access this document as you need to, instead of having to look at it with me. Now, going back to the document that we were reviewing earlier, which was this part here. So once the active inquiry stage is over, they have seen your brand, they've come to your website, they may or may not have known about your brand, they may have or they may not have signed up for your brand, but they have at the back of their mind aware of your brand. So they might just go Google your brand, check out your site, look for the reviews before giving you their email address. So this training, this video is still not about this conversation. This conversation is a completely separate content strategy video that we'll share separately. But the 4th stage is now they're at your site. They have convinced themselves that you're the right brand, but they have not been able to convince they've convinced themselves that you're the brand that basically is one of the many that they would consider for whatever it is that they're trying to solve. But they have not yet made up their mind on which brand to buy from. So they sign up for your email list. Of course, you're giving them a discount. your objective is to convert them at the first stage. But I'm assuming that at this stage, it will probably end up being a little bit hard for you. Yes, nothing like it for a business, but we will come to that stage. Now, your job is to nurture and engage this relationship. They move into the second stage, which is now we will call this during purchase. There can be various permutations and combinations here, but we are going to go linear in this matter at this point in time as part of this training. At this stage, they're evaluating the brand as a potential solution to their problem. And I'm reading this from here. So feel free to click on the link in the comments and you should be able to read it with me. For their needs. Now, I've written wellness here because we were doing this for a brand that was selling products relevant to the wellness industry. But otherwise, reading and engaging with your emails and comparing you to your competitors. So now, because they signed up for your email list, you've given them a discount voucher. They're trying to figure out, are they getting a great deal based on apples to apples? What kind of benefits do you offer versus the price that you're charging? Does the product do everything that they need, whatever their problem is? Are they learning something new? Are they getting something new? Are they being entertained in your emails, etc.? These are the things. Again, we're not going to go much deeper into these customer journey details, but I want to make sure that we understand this journey. Now they have kind of decided, yes, I like this product and everything seems okay. Let's go buy the product. At this stage, their decision-making stage, placing an order. They've added the product to their cart. However, they might see a shipping cost. Now they have to go back to the drawing board or calculate, hey, the other brand did not have shipping, or maybe Amazon Prime, I can get it for free if it's available on Amazon. So they leave. So that's the stage where they are placing the order. Now let's imagine they've placed the order, they've liked everything, and they're completely happy with the purchase, with the order placing process. Now comes the shipment stage. At this stage, you're basically fulfilling their order by packaging, dispatching the products, and ensuring timely and accurate delivery to their address. They're waiting and twiddling their thumbs. Now, packaging a memorable and delightful unboxing experience for customers. So they should like what they get. And then, of course, adding personalized touches if possible. You can do a number of things. So that's the next stage where they evaluate your brand based on packaging, etc. The reason this is important is when I'm going to talk about the actual automation flows, this will become relevant. Then comes the next stage, which is whether the product is good or the product is bad. Two possible outcomes here. Continued usage, our job, our goal, our purpose at this stage is to have them use the product continuously. So the two things we're going to take from here is the stage that they're in and the purpose that we have at this stage, what we want them to do. So these are the things we want them to do here. And at this stage, we are saying we want them to continuously use the product. And if the product is good, obviously we want them to buy more of the same or buy other products from us. So this is essentially what the objective is. Customers encountering dissatisfaction or issues with the product, they're indicating it fails to meet their expectations in terms of quality, functionality, usability, or it could be any number of reasons. For the sake of this conversation, let's say the contextual, the average return rates on e-commerce especially is anywhere between 15 to 40%. In some cases, it's even as high as 50%. But in general, our job at this stage with the conversation we have is to reduce the return rates, right? And we'll come back to that in a minute. Now, the products are good. We obviously want to sell more. We want to collect testimonials because if they've liked the product, they may or may not have bought again, but at least if they have not complained, it's our job to ask them for a testimonial, a review, what could and could not, what could be made better, what could be changed. Then ask them for more business, ask them for referrals. Who are your friends who might be interested in this product? And then have them become our brand ambassador, advocate our products by themselves, take our product pictures, post it on their social media because they love our product so much. That's your general, linear, typical customer journey. Now, the purpose of this training is essentially to make sure that we engage our customers. And I'm going to talk only about emails in this conversation. So we are going to look at every single email automation. What would trigger it? How would it basically communicate with the user? What the objective would be? And I will show you a couple of those charts on how to engage the users. But by and large, that's what the customer journey would be primarily about. Now, let's come back here. Now, in this case, if you see, basically the objective, and I'm going to relate it to this stage here, you can't really do much when it comes to email marketing on this part, except for making sure that your pop-ups are nice, making sure that your conversion rate on the pop-up is a bare minimum 10 to 13%. That's the kind of conversion rates you should expect on the pop-ups. But before we go there, let me see if there's any more people here that want to ask questions. Even if you're not watching it live, I can't see if there's anyone watching live, but I'm still learning this, I'm sorry. But if you have questions, by all means, feel free to add them here, and I'm happy to answer those questions for you. Now, give me 1 second. I'll just quickly confirm whether we are live and we are okay. So now let's come back to the stages and we'll start talking about these stages so that you can relate them to the conversation. Typically, before they place an order, we've got their email address, and now we want to start talking to them. The objective at this stage is to turn first-time subscribers into first-time customers. That's the biggest objective at this stage. To be honest, we don't care about brand indoctrination. We don't care about anything else. But the job here is to make sure that we convert them into a first-time customer. That's the job of any e-commerce business, right? Now, how do we do that? Let's see. So we obviously use emails to communicate the brand. We use a welcome. So first, let's talk about flows, and then we'll talk about the specific emails within the flows for a couple of them examples. All right. So now when you see this here, welcome email flow, this is the first email flow that they get. This is where you basically will talk about your brand. You will talk about your best sellers, your best selling products, your best used content. You will basically try and present your best foot forward to make sure that they convert. Now, they may or may not have signed up with a discount code. We'll come back to that when we talk specifics about the welcome flow, but that's typically how the journey should be. Now, let's say they saw the pop-up, they signed up, and then you're engaging them in a welcome flow. Life gets in the way. They did not really engage after that, and they left. So now what do you do? Now you essentially have to drive them towards the product page, which is where the best sellers, the best-selling content, etc., come into play, and they come to a product page. Now, at this stage, two things will happen. We'll come to those, but assuming one of your products are out of stock, and I'm using this here because when an order is being placed, they have already expressed their interest in being part of your conversion cycle. So we'll come to that in a second. But for now, before any of the order placement has started, there may be a product or something that is out of stock, and you want to have an automation for back in stock where people can sign up and be notified if that item is out of stock. And then, of course, one other automation that we generally recommend is a weekly newsletter at this stage. They may never come to your website in terms of clicking on a product page or adding a product to the cart, but that should not mean you continue to send them only marketing and sales emails. You should have a weekly newsletter. We encourage every e-commerce brands, and I have dozens of examples to show a weekly newsletter that does not just talk about products, but it talks about what's happening. It educates, it entertains, it mesmerizes, it brings them in awe, it inspires them. The kind of conversations you would have with a friend. If you have a weekly newsletter, your conversion rates literally skyrocket from emails. Your revenue per subscriber can almost double. We've had brands that have gone from 180,000 a month on email revenue alone to $500,000 a month in email revenue alone, because we included an email newsletter. We'll come back to that. Now, they like the product email and they clicked on it. There are two things that will probably happen here, and only two things. They would either add the product to their cart or they would leave from the product page. So at this stage, there are two automations that would trigger. There would either be a site exit or a browse abandonment flow where they looked at a product and they went, or there would be an abandoned cart flow in case they added the product to their cart, but they did not purchase. Now, the stages are, first they came into your site, they looked at the product page, and they did not add to cart. Now, at this stage, there are two flows, by the way. If they left, there is a site abandonment flow, the browse abandonment flow. But let's imagine you have a unique pop-up that is specifically targeted at only your product pages. What does that do? That pop-up is activated only at exit intent. At that stage, if the user is trying to leave the browser, you show them a pop-up, hey, don't leave yet, get an extra 5% discount or get an extra free shipping for the next 60 minutes only. Now, that's what we call an exit intent pop-up. When they enter their email address for that specific prompt, you would move them into a different flow and not just your routine browse abandonment flow. That flow does not display here because the first couple of emails will be different for that flow, but then all others will be similar to the browse abandonment flow because they've still not added the product to their cart. Then comes your cart abandonment flow, which is where if they have added a product to their cart and they left, then you want to essentially convert them into a customer. Now, the objective from these two flows is, again, straightforward, to convert them. So what we want to do here is we want to show them what they're missing, show them their life before and after. So using visuals of how their lives would change, using language of how satisfied they would be, how happy they would be when they buy the product, using testimonials, and then last but not the least, using content to engage them about the product. I know it's a lot of hard work. I have not seen a lot of agencies do this, but we do this for almost all the brands. We try, and in general, we don't work with brands that do hundreds of SKUs, by the way, but we try and create relevant content that talks to the product they already had in their cart. So if you're selling a vitamin supplement for brain versus joints versus sleep, we would try and include content relevant to sleep or brain or joint health in the abandoned cart flow. We have once again seen the conversion rates improve significantly when they get value within the abandoned cart, and the conversion rates after that literally go 3 times than control groups. So these are the 2 or 3 flows at this stage. Once the order is placed, then comes your post-purchase email automations. Now, that automation particularly is in a few different parts. Now, if you see here, till this point, these 6 email automations are pretty much all of them relevant to post-purchase. So don't think that this is different kind of a sequence. This is all in one sequence, in one flow. But these are all different objectives and a different set of emails that will go one after the other. So first of all, let's look at this part, the pre-arrival sequence. By the way, if you see here, optional relationship, the objective is relationship, revenue, or external ESP. This is, we're going to come back later. But relationship versus revenue, those are the 2 primary goals from these automations. Now, let's look at this one a little bit in more detail. Pre-arrival sequence. What does this mean? They ordered the product. Now, statistically, we know that when someone places an order, the first thing they do is for the next 2 minutes, look at their inbox, twiddling their thumbs, wanting to make sure that the data, that their order has been received and that the data is accurate. The shipping address is correct, the payment details are being captured correctly, and that the payment has gone through. The customer in general, if you know, and if you've already been following, the conversation, buy on emotion because you have made them happy, or they think that the product is going to make them happy, will change their life in some way, and they justify it with logic later. So while they have made a purchase, buyer's remorse is bound to set in. It's common human psychology. So your job with this flow, first of all, is to eliminate buyer's remorse. Remember what we were talking about in the customer journey section when we were looking at the other document? So that was here, this document. No, hold on. Where is the document gone? It's here, this document. We were talking about this shipment and not lose or cancel packaging, these 2 parts. So in this part, what we want to do is a couple of things. So first of all, we obviously thank you and your orders will be received and you'll receive it by this and this date. There is, and when we go into the details of post-purchase automation, we will talk about the survey as well. But generally, our job here is to, first of all, collect as much first-party data as we can. The customers are in an engaging mode because they've already placed an order. So if we can make an offer that they can't refuse, something like, and I'm going to give you 2 or 3 examples here. So one example here would be, get a full refund on your order when you take this survey. You will be joined every month. 1 customer gets a full refund. Anyone that takes the survey is automatically added into that draw. So now they have a chance of getting their money back and get the product as well. So they would be more likely to take their part in the survey. Best option to collect as much first-party data as you can. You can take 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You can have 2 questions, 5 questions, 8 questions. It doesn't matter, because right now they have an incentive to submit that form, and they've already been on your website. They've already committed to you. The second part could be an extra discount voucher saying, hey, by the way, if you place this order, you've qualified for this specific discount, and this is 30% off if you order in the next 3 hours only. 30% of those orders, those emails turn into revenue. So that's the second way, upsell. The third part here is you just give them a discount voucher for survey. So anyways, that's your first email pre-arrival, because while they have made a purchase, you definitely want to extend the courtesy a little bit more and get as much data or a more or another order from them. That's the first stage. But after that, what you want to do is you want to give them as much respect and value as you can as a first-time customer. How do you do that? There are 3 things core, most important here. 1, you need to convince them that they've made the right decision. So your brand value affirmations, what you stand for, how their order. For example, you contribute to 1% for the planet, or you support some charity, a children's hospital, you support environment friendly packaging, or anything and everything that you do. That's the first thing you do here. You reinforce the brand values so they know that they're not dealing with a fly by night operator and that they've made a right decision. The second email at this stage you're going to send would be about, hey, by the way, here's what others think. Include some UGC content here, some videos, some testimonials, some Instagram posts others might have posted. It works two ways. One, it will help them see that other people love your products, but at the same time, establishes context that if you ask them for this content, they should be prepared to send you that content. They may or they may not, but then this establishes the context. So that's the second thing you do. And then the third thing you do is give them options of support if they don't know how to use the product. And of course, include, here is how to make the best use of your product. So whether it's a skincare regimen, whether it's a garment, how to take care of that garment, or what to expect in the first week, clean it or wash it or dry clean it, whatever it is, give them that information. So they know that you not only are interested in selling, but you're standing behind your products 100% to make their experience as meaningful as possible. So now these 3 emails over the course of next 4 to 5 days will mean that shipment is about to arrive at their destination. So now they've arrived. Now the product arrives. Once it arrives, obviously, and this is part of the pre-arrival or arrival sequence, is now you ask them for a quick video. So you send them a voucher at this stage saying, hey, by the way, here's a voucher. And I think I'm going into the details. I should not go into more details here at this point. We'll come back to this in a minute. Not in a minute, but in a few minutes. And then you ask them for user-generated content. So now that they've seen some content already, you ask them, hey, by the way, would you be willing to send me an unboxing video? Or here's $25 to send us an unboxing video. Or here is $25 to share on Instagram, or get, hashtag us here and get a $5 voucher. Make sure that there are 2 or 3 emails in this flow, because at the end of the day, this is what will run or help run more ads for the future and reduce your CPA and CAC. Okay, now a couple of weeks have passed. They've started to use the product. They have used the product a little bit, and you might want to cross-sell at this stage. So you will include a few emails here. Basically, at this stage, the cross-sell flow typically would include one content piece, which has got extremely high value, that shows them how to do specific things about your product. So for example, let's say you sell THC beverages. And this is a weird kind of an example, but let's take an example of THC beverages. You sell multiple flavors, so you can cross-sell one flavor from the other, right? So how do you do that? First of all, you include some sort of a conversation about summer or the weather. So there is a watermelon flavor, and there is a guava flavor, and there is a blueberry flavor, and then there is a strawberry flavor. So you want to sell multiple flavors now. So you say basically, you include a content piece that talks about how strawberries are in season, and you use only the best of ingredients in your products and that kind of stuff. And at that stage, you're setting the stage for the cross-sell. So now let's take another example. Let's say you sell shirts, men's shirts, and specific kind of shirts. Let's say you sell casual wear shirts. So now what you do here is, in the cross-sell flow, you would start with talking about the specific or the fine, craftsmanship that goes into making your fabric, or how your fabric is better for the skin, and what kind of things to look for when buying their garments, so that these 3 skincare issues will never happen for them. So once you've done that education, the next email, you're going to introduce the cross-selling product. So that product could be, hey, by the way, here's another product, and since you're already a customer, here's a special deal for you. Get a 10% extra discount, or get it free shipping, whatever that deal is. But now you are kind of establishing context with a piece of content, and in the next couple of emails, you're selling that product. You can go longer onto this flow by adding a value ladder. So you're going to say, hey, by the way, the discount, it's only valid for 3 days, 6 hours only, ends tonight, or ends in a few hours. So that's kind of how you convert them into a repeat buyer here. Once they become a repeat buyer, they may or may not have bought, but you want to now start engaging them in reviews. You want to start engaging them in the rewards program. You want to convert them into a brand ambassador. So this part of your relationship is here. where you essentially are asking them for testimonials, referrals, and advocacy. So these flows, or this flow, as you see here, is not about revenue, it's about relationship and engagement. So you want to collect a testimonial, you want to get referrals from them, you want to talk to them about different kind of ways they can engage with your brand, give them rewards program, have them sign up for it. And that's kind of the post-purchase, about 30 days out. Now comes your more repeat orders or replenishment reminders if you had a product that lasts about 30 days or something. And then VIP flash sale invite only. This is an automation that we generally use after about 45 days, where only the existing customers get these emails, and this discount is on products that you really want to give a high value discount on, that you don't mind giving a high value discount on, because the customers feel as if they're getting a stellar deal, but it's only for existing customers. So you end up selling out more on these products. 60 days have passed, and after the first order, then you have to re-engage them. You have to grow list engagement. They may have fallen off. They may not have opened your emails. So you have your win-back email flows, partially relationship building, partially conversions, because you do want to sell again, because at the end of the day, that's what brings bacon to the table, vegan bacon in my case. And then, of course, if they have still not engaged, you have a re-engagement income flow. You call it win-back, you call it re-engagement, whatever you want to call it, re-engagement. Now, assuming 90 days later, they still haven't engaged. Now, at this stage, things start to get a little bit sour. It's been about 45 days that they have opened your email. They've received about 5 to 10 emails. Depending on how many emails you send, you want to make a call here at this 90-day stage. 2 ways to send them re-engagement emails here. One, you would either repeat this after about 30 days, or what you would do is you would take the emails out of here, automate them to send a personalized CEO email one-on-one using Google G Suite, Google Workspace. That email looks like it's coming from a friend, a colleague, or someone like that. And therefore, they are more likely to respond. You get between 40 to 60% open rates on those emails. And that's kind of what happens when you run these automations. So this is typically your customer journey when it comes to email automations 101. Now, these are pretty much, they cover everything. There are a few more here that you can include, like the first purchase anniversary, like the birthday sequence, if you collect that part of data. So you can basically run those sequences, but those are not part of a customer journey. Those are part of any other automation that you want, and you want to improve the revenue from your emails. So that's kind of the long and short of email automation as a broad perspective. Now, before I go further, let me see if there are any questions, or anything that I can answer for you guys here. But if not, then we'll kind of cover a couple of other items like post-purchase flow and cart abandonment flow example. And these are specific examples, remember. So they may or may not apply to your business, but it would be helpful to go through them. So if you have any questions, let me know. Though I don't really know if I can see any comments here. I don't think I can, because I have no idea if people can even comment. And if I do get the comments here, I don't know. Okay. So what we do here, no, I think I do see comments if people make comments. I don't think anyone's making comments. So this has gone on for 28 minutes. I think we should pause it here. We should do another live, and we will cover the post-purchase, etc. automation in another training. I do not want to take a lot of time. So yeah, let's end it here for now. Briefly, I will show you a flowchart, and I'll include it for anyone that is interested in this. So a post-purchase automation that I was describing just now would look something like this. As you can see, this flow is going to be all of these emails step by step. Now, what would that look like? So that would look like this. Let it load for a minute, please. Here we go. So the moment they placed an order, this is your post-purchase automation. Either you get instant discount with time restriction, this item 30 minutes only, or 3 hours only, 30% discount, or win a full refund in exchange for a survey, or get X amount of dollars in exchange for a survey. You can do random selection here, but these emails get the maximum response. Then thank you, confirmation, support options, brand value affirmations, UGC and testimonials, product benefits specific to how to use and all. And then delivery is confirmed. Then you talk about how to use it and all, ordering experience feedback, request for UGC, request for review, value blog articles, first discount. This is where you come to the cross-sell upsell sequence. Reminder to use the discount offered, one more day, last few hours, etc. Then you do a little bit of a discount laddering. So you increase the discount offered if they have not yet converted. And then you continue last few hours, and then loyalty programs, etc., ongoing newsletters and campaigns. So this is typically how you structure your automation flows as far as post-purchase is concerned. Now we have these charts for welcome, cart abandonment, browse abandonment, all of those. And the journey continues like this based on what they are thinking, what they want, what they're feeling, etc. And we will deal with that. But typically, this is what you need to do when it comes to email automations. So I'm going to pause this recording now, and we will take answers on comments and later whenever someone watches these videos.